everyone. And I know you're all excited, as I am, as Angified presents a very special interview with the one, the only, you know, Ms. Amy. Here she is, guys. And I know she's got a very special surprise waiting for you. I can't wait to hear more. Hi, Amy. It's so good to see you.
Hi. That's a great introduction.
Oh, thanks. Amy, I need to know more about you. You know, I've heard so many of your songs and you're an absolutely incredible artist, but where did you come from? Like, was your great grandparents like going ahead and playing guitar, and maybe like your great grandmother was going ahead and kicking up those heels, and letting it out as she was cleaning or cooking?
With my dad, actually. My dad was he's the only like musically inclined one. But he was like pen to paper, getting ready to sign. And the rest of the guys at the band didn't want to do it. But I basically grew up in front of a loudspeaker. So I was the baby at the bar. I was the baby in the back of the mosh pit, sleeping on the couch. So I grew up in that world. And unfortunately for me, my dad kind of went the way of he lost his mind kind of thing. So he and I don't really have a relationship anymore, unfortunately. So, but I just try to kind of hold on to the good that I got from it instead of just living, with the bad. So I try to take that from him.
That's a tough situation. Like my dad, was also a rocker, and so yeah, you grew up at the bar. You grew up with those JBL speakers, but you
That's
also
right.
like you couldn't wait till the band left and be like, "Dude, just leave your drums here."
That was my uncle. My uncle Lee. He was a drummer, and so anytime we went to his house, where was I? I was in the garage with the guys, and I was on the drum set. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
couldn't
was
play
like
drums to save my life anymore, probably because I know I can keep rhythm, but good luck. We're all gonna die if it relies on me to play drums. It's not happening.
So, when did you start writing? Was it in elementary school, like just kind of journaling and say, or like poetry? When did you start writing and deciding, yeah, I want to be a musician too?
Never. So completely honest, I suck at writing. Like I straight suck at it. Like I know I do. I suck at it. It takes me a really long time to do it. When I do finally come up with something, it's always something that's really meaningful to me. Like it's something that like most of all my songs they're all about my kids or like my youngest son, and I'll kind of fill you guys more on that. It's kind of sad, but so I have a hard time singing my own songs because then I get choked up. And
Yeah.
so like in there is a reason that one that was one like me singing to my son.
Mhm.
So there's parts in there that I could not re-record. I wanted to record it so bad, but I couldn't do it just because every time I got to a certain point I'd get lumped up and I'm like, okay, this has got to stop. So yeah, but yeah, writing for me is never, that's not where it started for me. It was just singing. I've always sung. Like I've always just, my dad would sit there and test me. He was like singing like a part of the lyrics of a song, and then he'd ask me who was the artist and what song was it, and I'd be able
And
to
what year
every
did they
time.
write it?
Yeah, that's when I got a little bit older, and I was always really good at it. And now I'm not all that great at that part, but he'd always then, or he would name off an artist in a song, and he'd be like, "All right, sing the first verse," and so I would just sing it. But yeah, other than that, just singing is just kind of what I do. I know I can probably actually annoy people with it because I never shut up, but I'm always making noise. So
Hey,
yeah, singing
life is a musical, right? I
sometimes.
do it
Well,
all the time too. And you know what? I know like I've written songs too that just kind of really grip you in your soul, where you just fall apart even while you're singing it. And it's almost like you fight to make it towards like and to complete the song because it means so much to you.
that's kind of like the song from Amy Lee did a song called "Speak to Me." It's for a movie. I can't remember exactly what the movie's called, but the whole every lyric in there, and then even in her video that she did for that song, she has her actual little boy in the music video and she's singing to him, and every single thing that she says in there is exactly what I want to say to my son. And so
Yeah.
like that song probably in it, that song came out exactly when what happened to us and my son, it came out right after. And so I was like, I needed that song at the same time. It hurt to hear it. And so I
Right.
told myself, like, I was like, I'm going to master it. I'm going to be able to sing it. And I finally did do it with a lot of help from Band Lab and my primitive band. And they all pushed me to like, yo, you can do it. And so I did it and it turned out pretty good. So that was a really good feeling to actually be able to push through it because it's a really hard song to get through.
Yeah.
But emotionally, I've never been able to get through like half of it and then not cry. So I was really proud of myself for doing that.
And sometimes even like while those tears are just running down your cheek and you're getting those notes just flowing out of you, like it's a release.
It's
It
like
is,
empowering almost like it like you get goosebumps, but like it makes you feel it's like that's like I said on like on my page, music is my medicine.
yeah.
It's my therapy. It's the way I
It's like
heal and
you're
the way that I cope.
cleansing.
Yeah, it's the way I cope too. It's just the way
Yeah,
that I deal with life's, BS. That's the way I do it.
that's right. Even if you have to sing, like sometimes shit's the only word that fits.
Right. Well, and
You
there's
know?
music for everything. There's music for when you're pissed, when you're mad, when you're sad, when and you feel weird. Like if you ever find yourself in a position where you don't want to listen to music, there's nothing that you can find that mixes for you,
Yes.
that's when maybe you need to go seek out some help. But other than that,
That's when you need to go ahead and that's
yeah,
when you need to like create your own.
yeah, that's when I knew there was something wrong
If
with
you
me.
can't find something that you want to hear, you make something you want to
Yeah,
hear.
when I knew the day that there was something wrong with me when I didn't want to listen to music and I was all there's something wrong. Like this is
Yeah,
not right. So yeah, but there's music for everything. It doesn't matter who you are, there's music for you.
awesome. I know like you had mentioned about like singing with your dad and stuff. Did you get into any kind of groups or bands in high school?
Actually, yeah, one. I used to play guitar slightly, like a little bit. My dad for Christmas, when I was 11, bought me an Ibanez Electric, all black. It was absolutely gorgeous. Loved my guitar. I had a crate, and eventually, my husband, when first started dating in high school, because we're high school sweethearts, we've been together since I was
Oh,
13. But he bought me a distortion pedal for it. But before I met him when I lived in Tracy, California. All my friends, we all kind of formed a band, and you'll never believe what we named ourselves, which is the stupidest thing on the planet. We named ourselves Soap on a Rope, and don't ask me why. Don't ask me why.
that's awesome.
We, I started smoking weed when I was really young. Like I was stupid, but like everybody that I knew was a stoner, and my parents were
Well,
like,
and
as
the
long
way that you grew up, I'm sure they were
well,
in the
my parents were
ashtrays.
kind of like as long as you get A's and you're passing school and you only do this at home and you're here safe, then you're good. But that's so I got away with it, doing it at home, and that's but all my friends would come over to my house, and we had a buddy that my best friend played drums, and then my other buddy played bass, and I was like, well, I guess I'll learn guitar and I can sing. So we weren't half bad, and we tried to join Battle of the Bands one year, but there's another band that's tried to steal our name. And I'm like, why of all names are you to steal Soap on a Rope? Like, what's like who? Yeah, it was just like, we are like, just make up the most random name. And that's what my buddy came up with. And I was like, all right, I guess that's Soap on a Rope. That's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
it.
we didn't make it much further than that, though. After that, we all kind of like, no, we're not taking it serious enough. So
Okay. I know that you mentioned that you also had children. Do they enjoy the music as well?
my oldest son does actually, which is really cool. It was like the coolest feeling I think I've ever had in my life because define one's actions. The first song I did was my comeback song with I did a Robert Gregory. He's the one that did the instrumental for it. I heard it and I was like, that's it. Like I had to do it. And then if it wasn't for Ticey and well, just like everybody like held me to come back. Like I don't know what I would have done without the help of my bandmates because I had no mic. Like all my stuff got jacked. Because I was in the hospital. I went through a lot of stuff. I almost died, and I had a miscarriage, unfortunately, and then I almost
Sorry.
I almost died, and it was really scary. And so we went through all this stuff, and then when I finally was able to I'm not sick anymore, and I was like healthy, and I came back, all my stuff was gone, and I'm like, oh my god, like our garage was left open on accident.
Nightmare.
When I was rushed to the hospital in the yard in the ambulance, I was like, I don't know what what to do because like we left our garage open. I came home and all my stuff was in the garage because that's where I was doing music and it was all
Yeah.
gone, all brand new stuff. And then I was like, oh my God, I can't. So I just got on. I was like, hey guys, I'm fine. I'm alive, but I can't sing. And then yeah, Dr. B and Ticey, they reached out to me. They're like, hey, we can help you out. I'm like, that was the coolest thing ever because it wasn't for them. I'm actually still, hold on, I'll show you. Still using the same mic that they sent me.
Nice.
So they sent that to me in the mail. And my cord, actually this cord, I needed it because the other one I had for these headphones wasn't working anymore. So they saved my life and that's why I started doing it. But yeah, Defines One's Actions is the one song that I did for my comeback song and it turned out really good. But that one, my oldest son heard it and he's all, the whole time he's listening, he's all, wow. And he's all, yeah, and I was like, and I'm sitting there all, you're joking. And then he's all, can I download it? And I was all, yeah, you can download it. Let's do this. Like I was super excited. So yeah, anytime I'm making new music now, he's like, what are you making? What are you doing? What are you doing? And so yeah, it's really cool.
You gave me goosebumps there because it is such an amazing feeling when your kids are like, can
Well,
I like
he's 14, so it's like, and he just started high school, and most kids are like, mom, but you know,
get away from me, mom. Yeah.
No, like not my kid. My kids are my oldest son is he's my buddy. Like he knows I'm mom first, and I'll mom is always first, dad's always first, but we're all buddies for friends. He's a really amazing. Like we got really lucky with him. He's like the perfect kid. So
Oh, congrats. Let's go ahead. Let's check out Define One's Action, shall we?
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Ha. I think I got it right. Maybe not. Shall we define my actions here? Maybe we shall. Yes, let's do it. Let's define one's actions. Instrumental. Okay, so I've been away from the lab and the wonderful world of music for far too long, thanks to some seriously fucked life BS. Thanks to some real people on here, Ticey and Mr. B. I'm back at it. Whoa, women of metal, primitive metal, forked as fuck, BandLab. That is one thing we have definitely found on BandLab is some amazing family members, friends, and a great community. Let's go ahead and check out Define One's Actions.
just the pounds. So where do you stand? Do you understand? Do you lead with a helping hand? Can't you see it's a natural tyranny amongst you and me? Where do you fall amongst them all? Amongst them all, will you stand tall?
Amy, that was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely gorgeous. My goodness, you actually sounded like Amy Lee on there.
I get told that a lot, and I think it's a really big name to be compared to. Like I idolize her, I always have. She's hands down like one of the most amazing artists, and she's a good mom and just an amazing person in general. Most people that meet her, which is like I would die to do anything to meet her. That'd be the coolest thing ever. But yeah, no, she's really really talented, and she really loves what she does. But she's got one of those voices that it's whenever you hear
It's piercing.
like you hear something like that, like you sound like that, someone like that, it's like, no, I don't think so. Like it's really hard. Like I I've been singing her for years. Like I used to cover her all the time, even in high school. That's what I would cover her. But yeah, so yeah, it's a huge compliment to hear that. At the same time, I could never be at that level. Amy Lee is something totally different. She's amazing. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I appreciate it, and yeah, it's really cool to hear. But at the same time, I want to hear that. I like hearing that, like, oh, you have that different, you're different, or you have there's something about your voice that I don't know what it is, but I like it. That's always almost better to hear because it just means that you have a unique something that people like. And I'm always like
Yeah.
kind of shocked sometimes because like I hear my music and I'm like, God, it sounds like crap. Like I hate it. Like
Well, no, what I
I'll
meant was that you could tell she was an influence to you.
yeah, big
The
time.
way that you flow
Yeah.
through the music and just leave it out there on the table.
I've always like I did choir my whole life for the most part, and I was a soprano too, and
Okay.
so I belt like whenever I sing, I'm like really loud. So my husband actually just yesterday, I had him listening to the song that we'll be speaking about shortly. I always have him listen to it because he's like, there's no filter with him. So he'll straight tell me like what he thinks. And he likes all my music at the same time. He's like, he'll straight point like stuff out that people that don't even know it, like if they hear it, they'll point it out. And so I like that because when I hear something, he's like, no, it actually sounds good. I'm like, okay, then it must sound good because he's not gonna bullshit me, you know.
Right.
So but
Well,
yeah,
that's
there's
awesome that you have a best friend and a partner that supports you.
we've been together for almost 18 years. We've been through a lot. We've been through everything. We've been divorced and remarried again. And so yeah, we've been through it. We've been through all of it.
But obviously, it's meant to be.
That's what I said. That's what I said. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. And sure enough, I'm, 2 kids later and here we are. So
Happy, smiling. I know you said you had choir, that you grew up in choir. What grade did you start that?
I started the second I started school.
Okay.
Actually, I started probably, yeah, kindergarten, preppy K or like pre-K kindergarten. I was every single year until I left high school. I was in choir. Yeah.
Did you take a short break in between?
I've always been in choir. Like the only time I ever wasn't in choir is once I left high school. Every
Okay.
year I was in school, I was in choir.
All right.
I
What
loved
did you
it.
do after high school for music? Were you doing like open mics or?
I know I've only I've only been able to perform on stages
Okay.
for choir, but they let me. We did state competitions and stuff where I did solos and stuff, and I won best soloist like 3 years in a row, and
Yeah.
our school won 3 years in a row for best choir. So that's the only time, but there's still a lot of people that I was performing in front of, and it was scary, but it's the only time I've ever been able to do that. Other than that, it's been like Mike, yeah, like karaoke night once or twice, but that's when I was drinking, and it just was not good. Like you just, yeah, like tip 101 for any of you out there. If you're drinking, you sound like shit. Just letting you know, you don't sound good. Don't drink and
It
sing.
doesn't
You
loosen you up, even though you
no,
may
no,
think it
not at all.
does.
No, yeah, it like tightens the vocals and you think you sound great and you're sweating bullets and like, yeah, it's just not happening. You don't look good. You don't sound good. You're making a fool of yourself. Don't drink and sing.
That's a very good tip.
At least that's what it was like for me. Cause I remember somebody recorded me and I looked at it, I was like, wow, that was bad. Like that was real hide now
Right,
under,
you turn around, you were like, "Who's that? That's not me."
no, it was so
I have an
embarrassing.
alibi.
And I sang a Rascal Flatts song, the Bless the Broken Road or whatever. I sung that
Beautiful
because
song.
like typically I was really good at that song, and I was like, oh yeah, I know it by heart. And I was in this hunky tonk, like country bar, and like it was called the Eight Ball. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm in like no man's land in this bar with a bunch of bikers, and like everybody's like 80 years old, but they all act like they're 10. I'm
Right.
like, oh, I got to sing something that they know. So I did that. And like, it was really sad because it went from like really, really loud bar, everybody's like being noisy to just dead silence. And I was all, not going to do that again. I didn't like that. That
You were
sucks.
lost of transmission.
That's a very good, you're really good at that. That's good. You're good at that. And I was like, she's all, I'm trying to find a way to weasel in the next song and see how we're going to do this. You did good at that.
Tell me about this track.
So the title of it was it was Iceman. It's an Iceman song. We all know who that is. Fantastic. Actually I just found out that he lives right out here. Like I live in Cypress, he lives in Huntington Beach, so we're like 10-15 minutes away from each other. So I told him, I was like, we should jam sometime or something, but he seems to be kind of like a hidden kind of person, which is fine. But I love his music, and I heard this song and I had lyrics already written that I was like, no way, it's gonna work perfectly. And so I was like, I just laid him out and it would just fit. It was perfect. And his title was the title of my lyrics. I was like, it was just meant to be. So I placed him and it sounded
Magic.
pretty good.
That's what I like to call it on BandLab, magic, when things like that happen.
Yeah. When they work, they work. When they don't, they don't. Like
That's right. Well, let's go ahead. Let's check out Loss of Transmission. Yeah. Just had to fork it. Another beautifully moving track by the killer and most talented Iceman. Vocals added and lyrics by yours truly. Rock, metal, women of metal, BandLab at BandLab. Let's go ahead, like, share, and follow MzAmi.
There's a loss of transmission. There's a loss of all communication. This life we're living today, so torn, filled with dismay. It's a tragedy. What's happening? Such a tragedy. I don't judge your story by the chapter I walked in on. I won't judge your choices if I don't understand your reason. Do you hear me? Do you understand what I mean? I am wondering if it's happening to get through to you. So if you hear me, I hope you see all that's in me. Why do I feel like you don't hear me? There has been a loss of transmission. There's a loss of all communication.
Gosh, Amy, you're trying to make me cry. Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Man, you were saying about your stories choking one up, and talking about how there's a lost communication. There's a loss, of,
Yeah.
like you said, transmission, just being able to communicate.
Kind of like more like I think my point to that song was kind of like just like the world today, because like
Yeah.
it seems like I'm
Everywhere.
just well, just like I hate to say like millennials and all that crap, like if you want to bring all that up, but it's just I remember when I was growing up, like people like if they saw you stuck on the side of the road or something, they would actually
Right.
stop to help or ask if you needed help. Instead, today they pull out their phone and they want to record you and see if anything bad's going to happen, so they
Yep.
can put it on YouTube later. And it's like it's kind of lost this loss of transmission. Is basically that's what I was, putting it to. Basically, it's just like a nice way to put it, because I have very choice words about those things, but I'm not I don't typically put those choice words in my music only because I can't like scream, or I don't have like that raspy rock voice, but I love metal and I love rock, and that's what I sing for the most part. So that was just my way of saying, wake up, like people need to wake up. It's kind of like smell the coffee and,
Yeah.
look at what's
And-
going on. Yeah. People put their head in the dirt and they think that by hiding and not doing anything about it, or just like ignoring it, that they don't realize they're making this problem so much worse. Like everything is getting so much worse because you're not doing anything about it. They don't realize that eventually it's going to come around and bite them in their own ass. So
And
That was-
and you know what? Like you are 100% right. Everybody is so quick to like pass the buck or not own up, and it comes down to the point where that communication to where it takes a village to raise a child has now come to let's lock our doors, grab our shotguns, close our windows, and let's just
unless you
cut
live in
off-
California and you're people like gun toting people like me and my husband, because my husband's a ranger master. So
Well, then you're carrying, but
well, yeah, but like
Same
living in
point, you know
California,
what I
it's
mean?
like here you're like guns. I'm like, just we get into those tiffs of people around here, and I'm like, when they try to ban them all, and then all the criminals are out there not caring about the laws, and I can protect myself and my family, and you can't. You're gonna be going there going, who's to protect us? Oh, we defended the police, we took your guns, we did this, we did. And they're like making this a safe haven for criminals. It's like this is what it is. But
It's almost like who
I'm
is
lucky. I live
really
in a
the
really,
ones
really
supposed to
nice,
be
beautiful
protected.
area.
Yeah.
It's all a game. It's all money, 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 and yeah, that's what they want. They want unrest because then they're needed. So that's all it is. It's a sick game, and but I'm lucky because I live in a really nice, like normal people area. I call it that because I'm like, we don't have any of those crazy, Antifa folk running around. My
Right.
neighborhood's nice and beautiful, and it's big and quiet, and everybody is like a gun toting fool, and it's like we're a super safe neighborhood and great schools, and so I'm
That's
lucky to live
awesome.
where I do live. So
Absolutely. And obviously, they say there's a reason.
that's
There's a
right.
reason
There she
why
goes
you
again.
are where you
Man,
are. There's
man,
a reason why
man.
everything worked out the way that it did.
I want to give you a virtual high five because that was
Woo!
you're good at that, man. You're gonna teach me how to do that.
Yeah, tell me, Amy, what's this song about?
So, oh boy, this is one of those ones that was about my younger son. So I will give you a brief rundown, really fast, because it's gonna take a minute. But when we come back from that song, I'll give you kind of a more detailed idea. But short story is when my husband and I split up, we split up for a year. I accidentally got pregnant with the guy that I was dating. I dated him for a year. He like forced me to get pregnant. But anyways, my husband and I got back together when I was 3 months pregnant, and he was daddy, cut the cord, everything. And for 4.5, almost 5 years, we were a happy go lucky family. My husband and I advocated for my ex. If he wasn't going to be abusive towards him, like he was with me, he was going to be a good dad. Then, we advocated for the big family because we're adults and we can see past, what we want. And it was for the kids. So 4.5 years, it went fine. All of a sudden, the baby comes home and tells us that he's being abused, basically. So after that, the dad filed for full custody and won in 2 months and got me labeled as a child kidnapper. My door was kicked in by Cypress PD and guns drawn, and they ripped him out of my arms in my own home. And so my song is about me speaking to him, letting him know that they say that like the bigger, higher people like the judge basically say that there's a reason that this happened to us. There's a reason, and I don't care who you are. They can go all day long because my kids, no child should ever have to go through that. I don't care. I could be the biggest piece of shit on the planet, but my kids did not deserve that. My son didn't deserve that. So
Yeah, no, not at all.
that's it's kind of speaking to him, letting him know.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's check this out. And I'm so glad everything is working out. And there's obviously a reason. Whoa. Is there a reason? There's a reason. You guys better like, share, and subscribe to MzAmi. Yes, check her out. Yeah. Here we go.
it's up to us who we become. Even through all the unrelenting tyranny, as we face it day to day, starting with the day they took you from me, they still say this is how it's meant to be. I wanna tell you something, so don't be any doubt. You're so precious to think about, and so hard to live without. I wanna tell you that I love you and I miss you. And one day I'll reunite with wanna tell you something, so don't be any doubt. You're so precious to think about. It's so hard to live without. Bittersweet memories of you, it's all we have left. If this is life's test, I think we should end it and put it to rest.
Oh my goodness. My heart poured out my chest for you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a little bit, that was a little hard to sing. So
I believe it 100%.
my son's all, he's like, I'm hungry. And my kitchen's right here next to me. He's all making, cleaning dishes. And I'm all, song's almost over. So he's all, I'll go wash up my bathroom. And I'm like, no, at least you're getting it done.
That's right. You'll find whatever you need.
That's right. I was worried though, because like for a second there, I got kicked off I lost internet again. So if I
seen
do
that.
like, yeah, like I was like, are you, I luckily got right back on. It's never happened that fast, but yeah. So if you guys lose me again, it's because my internet is shit and it just doesn't like me. So,
Hey, everything happens for a reason. So you made it back in like record time.
right. Right. Like right before the show too. Like it was like 4:00 and then boom, my electricity and like everything went out. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, only me. Like this just happens to me always. So
Well, you were meant to be here because here you are.
Yep. I was like, there's no way I'm not showing up. Are you kidding me? No way.
All right, let me ask about the song Find You. Because it sounds like throughout your whole music career, that's what you are doing. You are finding yourself and you are making like killer like headway with us.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either. So, but I can't, I have to like all the props and that credit though has to go to the absolutely amazingly badass shredding freaking musicians that are on BandLab. Like I listen to BandLab now and I don't listen to the radio. Like I don't listen to, if I'm on Spotify, it's BandLab members that I know from
Yep.
there. So or it's YouTube, then I'm like,
Band
yeah,
members.
it's yeah, it's crazy because there's like some of the best music I've heard in a long time. And it's like my kind of metal, like my like the metal that I grew up with, like I grew up on Queensryche and like Dream Theater and you know all the really good wholesome like when music was music. Like every band member had their purpose, had their place in the band, but like you were all just as important, not just like people like to just put up the lead singer. And I hate that because I'm like, it's not, if, yeah, the lead singer, they can sing, I can sing anything. Yeah, I can carry a tune. That's great. But without the music behind it, it's just someone's just singing, you know, it's
That's
just,
right.
I
You
mean,
need that drums, you need that bass.
drums keep it carrying, the bass, you know, keeps the tone and sets that mood. And then the guitar just keeps it carrying too and helps heighten that, you know, the excitement or helps carry whatever mood you're trying to carry. So
Well, I have to ask, since you do have kids, how many times have you played with your kids' toys and added them into your music?
I haven't done it in a while, but I've done it a lot. I've actually done it on accident. My son, both my kids, like I was trying to make music and my kids would run in the room or something. And instead of getting mad at him, I was just like, oh, there he is. That's what, yeah, come here. No, you popped your head in. Now you have to say hi. This is Gavin. He's my 14-year-old.
Hi, Gavin.
Super
Hello.
proud.
Aw, he looks like you.
Yeah.
I know. The hair
He's
and
my buddy.
that.
He's not ashamed of either too. Cause like I can get, he comes up and gives me hugs and kisses at school. It doesn't matter where we are, like Taekwondo, like I'm the TKD mom. So yeah. Yeah, but my kid like, and now he's like, he wants me to make what are those things called that you want me to make? The sound things. What we put Audacity.
Oh,
What is it called?
Chromatics.
Chromatics. He wants me to teach him how to make chromatics. So we got Audacity and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't know how to make chromatics. And he's all, look, we do it like this. I'm like, well, if you know how to do it, then teach me because I don't know what I'm doing.
Right?
You know, I know what sounds good. I'm lucky because I've got live ANC, you know, studio headphones. So that helps big time. But, and I understand studio software for the most part, but his step-by-step thing, I'm like, it's going to take me like ages. I don't spend that long on my music. I don't spend that much time on my music, you know? So
actually, that stuff is done in a day.
maybe a day for you, but not for this old lady.
Oh, shit.
So don't look
He'll
old,
teach
doesn't
you, Mom. He'll teach you.
I can understand if you feel old all because of me growing up. But you
Yeah,
are
we're not
old,
gonna go there.
all right?
Just shush.
Well, it sounds like in finding you, he's finding you and helping you find you.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
No, you
We
made
find
it.
ourselves in this house just fine, I think. Yeah. We're a bunch of dorks here.
So tell me about this song, Find You.
So basically, yeah, it's basically telling people that you need to wake up and find yourself. Like you need to figure out who you are. Like don't be the follower, you don't necessarily need to be the leader, but if you don't, Gavin, shush. Sorry.
I
Motherhood.
keep getting sprayed by the water.
That doesn't sound right. Let's not right
I'm
now.
making soup.
Let's not
Oh,
try to talk about my song. Oh, boy, that'll go wrong in so many ways so fast.
That's a song right there.
Yeah, no, we got plenty. My husband's got great ideas, but yeah. Anyways, find you is it's exactly that. Just you got to find you. You can easily get lost and try to follow things and not. Yeah, it's just like music for me is how I find me, like how I express me, how like it's music, tattoos, and those
she
are my.
always gets lost because she's short.
Or my son can do that too. He can
Short
tell me,
people rule.
5'2", baby.
Then me too.
I'm not short. I'm fun sized. And I can fit in places you guys
That's
can't.
right.
Good luck
That's
find me.
right.
Hide and seek. I rule.
Love you.
And we can also go ahead because we're tiny and climb to the top shelf at the grocery store.
No, like ever like when people like put things on the top shelf, and I'm like, I just jump up on the counter, and they're like,
That's right.
"Oh," I'm like, "That was fun for me." So next time we
Yeah.
do that, let's
Or you
go.
go
I'm-
ahead and you carry out like a 40-pound bag of dog food, and people are looking at you like that bag's
problem.
almost as big as you.
No problem. I can like
Right?
lift like more than
Woo,
twice
right
my
over the
body weight.
shoulder and go.
More than twice my body weight, baby. Yeah, that's right. Might be tiny, but I pack a mean punch. I'm joking.
That's right. I hope you all listen to Amy's advice and find you as well. No duplicate copies.
Yeah, no, find yourself. Like, be you. Be who you truly are. I'm a complete and utter artard. I'm a retard. People look at me like, oh, get told, oh, you're pretty or this and that. I'm like, yeah, just come to my house and meet me for a half an hour. You'll look at me in a totally different way, I promise. So,
Well, be you, be heard, be original, and find you. Let's go ahead. Let's check this out. Yay. Find you. Shout out to Samuel P. Lawson for the amazing track. I simply added #vocal to the mix. Hope you all enjoy it. Metal, melodic metal, rock, women of metal, original, BandLab at BandLab. Let's go ahead and rock out with Miss Amy and find you.
told you all you need to do. It's open up your mind, because if you don't, you won't. You find you. It's time for you to open up your ears, for you to hear past all the lies and what truth no disguise. Open up your eyes. Yes, you've been so badly broken up inside. All you care to do is hide. What if I told you all you need to do is open up your mind? Because if you don't, you won't. You find you.
Killer. Oh gosh. Samuel really like killed that guitar in there too. And your
Yeah.
vocals like took you to another level, especially your backgrounds. Incredible job.
I'm not usually like very good at that. Like I love harmonizing, which I'm good at harmonizing, but with my own vocals, I always end up like I end up getting stuck like singing that other note, and I'm like, oh, like I'll have to retake it like a million times, and I'm like, oh, I swear. So sometimes what I do is I'll just do whenever I sing for the most part, especially if it's a cover,
Mhm.
I do one shots. I don't do it in bits and pieces. So when I sing,
Not wasting your time on a cover.
I just go full shot every time. So it's one take every time. And then if I don't like it, then even if I like most of it and then there's parts of it I don't, I'll still erase the whole thing and redo it all over again. Because in my mind, if it's a song that you're going to be singing, especially if it's one that's an original, if you're ever going to be performing that song live, you need to be able to perform that song live. And if you can't sing it in a whole shot, you're never going to be able to perform it live, not properly. And so
Right.
when you get used to doing things in bits and pieces and you do it studio version, good luck going live because it's gonna be difficult. I mean, you're gonna mess up and then you can't go back and restart again. It doesn't work that way when you're live, So
Nope.
yeah, you need to learn how to be comfortable singing things,
Rank
all the
it
way through.
in. Yep.
I prefer to do that way. Also,
It's a
it's
great
more,
breathing technique.
I don't have an issue with that. I'm
But
super and what it
because you're
is,
used
but
to
for people,
choir, so you're used to the guy in the back, all the way in the back, being able to hear you.
I'm used to being the one being shoved in the back because I was always way too loud. So I ever like we would record ourselves and everybody we'd listen to it at the end just to see how we sounded. And every time was, oh, we can hear Amy. We definitely know Amy's part. Amy's, because I was always way too loud. So I'd have to like literally try to start being quiet. But then my choir teacher was like, no. It's because I'm naturally loud. I just
Right.
am. But and also in order to push out or belt out a soprano 2 note, which is that's something else. Like I hit
Mhm.
that note in Speak to Me, the cover that I did, and I also hit that note in I think Lithium, another
Very
Evanescence song. But
Yes.
those, man, soprano 2 is not. I used to have no problem like with ease in high school, and I just like walk around just like but what I had the best time doing is learning how to whisper sing. So, especially ever since I became a mom and I was singing all the time, sometimes you can't sing so loud. So I would, especially if I was wanting to record or something, I learned how to still sound loud. So like most of my music, believe it or not, because I'm doing it either in my living room where it's really echoey, like I'm doing it in here, or I'm in the garage or wherever I can, get to it. But right now it's my PC and stuff, so I'm in here and it's really echoey. But I have to try to keep my tone down, and if I don't, it messes up everything. So by whisper singing, though, you learn how to control your breath, and you learn how to control. You learn your vocals, and you learn your how far you can push them. Yeah, it's not easy. It's difficult, but yeah, once I learned how to whisper sing, everything after that was like cake. So
It's a game I like to call "Don't Wake the Kids."
yeah, no, in our
Hubby's
household,
included.
in our household, we try to like keep it loud, like because we didn't want to be like that. The annoying friends are like, shh, the baby's sleeping. Oh, the
Yeah.
baby's sleeping. Shut up, the baby's sleeping. I'm like, no, if it's our kids, if it wasn't loud, then they wake up and go, what am I missing? What's going on? What's happening? So
Right.
there had to be noise going on, some music, or they would, in order to get them to go to sleep, we'd have to put them in the truck because we had really loud exhaust, and we'd drive them and put them to sleep. And then half the time we'd just park it in the garage with like the garage door open, left them in the car with the windows down. That, or put them on top of the washer and dryer where it's loud and it's moving them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are those really
Vacuum.
exhausting nights. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And the baby papoose on the chest trying to get chores done, and the only way the baby will sleep and get things done is carrying him.
Yep.
And
Yep.
my oldest son had severe. He's born with severe club feet. He actually was never supposed to be able to walk. Yeah, he actually wasn't even supposed to have him. I was supposed to die if I gave birth to him. At 6 months pregnant, they told me he has to have T21, which is Down syndrome. I was supposed to have twins. One didn't develop, and so he developed in both amnios, and so he was stuck inside the amniotic banding, and so he has no toes on his right foot, but he's got all the bones, and then his feet were like J's when he came out, so they were touching the insides of his legs. His soles of his feet were, and they told me he'll never walk. And so they had to break his leg straight when he was born. And I'm like, you know what, that's, I was 3 months shy of 18 when I had him. So we were really, really young. I'm 32 now. So it was a very challenging thing for us. But he now, I don't know if you can see his impressive TKD, his Taekwondo
Yes.
wall of fame over there. He's now almost a second Dan black belt and telling me the kid can't walk, right?
Yep. Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It took a lot. He Dr. Brown shoes but like the day he was born. So when I was carrying him, he was in casts and he was really heavy. So even though he was only born at 6 pounds, 10 ounces, but 22 inches long, because his dad's 6'6" and I'm 5'2", just don't ask me. And I was supposed to have twins. Can you imagine if I had twins?
Oh my goodness.
No. That's horrible. I couldn't even imagine that. But yeah,
You would
so
probably die.
probably you almost killed me, so Yeah, but yeah, he told me he's a miracle kid. But yeah, I remember him. He was one of those kids that he couldn't be. He had to be a noise. Like he had to. So my singing, and so I'd always have him in the papoose thing and killed my back because of the cast, but because he was always super heavy because of him. But it's the only way I could. Even after he had Dr. Brown shoes, he couldn't walk or he couldn't crawl. And so I had to carry him everywhere, and or he had to sit in like the really high chair, and he wasn't getting exercise and his hips were going already. And I was like, this is not going to work. So we put him in half length casts, and at a year old, I'm watching Whose Lines and Is It Anyways? And by myself, he jumps up and he looks at me, he's all bye, and he starts running. I'm all, he's running. It's
a miracle. Whose line is it anyway? It's the laughter.
Right. Right. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. He was like, I'm like, no, you're right. He wasn't going to walk. He's going to run. That's right. So
that's awesome.
He's a lot like me. And he's like the perfect, I say the 50-50 mix of me and his dad. So he's got all the good, none of the bad.
Where do you see yourself going in the future with your music career?
The
sky's the limit. Your son's proof.
Right. No,
You've got proof right behind you. Like that's just a blessing. Oh my gosh.
He tells me all the time. He's like, Mom, that'd be so cool. And for me, it's like, I don't expect to be like, on a stage. Like I don't expect to be as big as like all these big name people ever, but I'd like to at least have like that one song on the radio that everybody knows. Like that would be the coolest thing ever. Or just to be able to play like with a big band or someone, or just like, as a feature on something at, one time, like in a big stadium. That would be like the coolest thing ever. Like that would literally be like the top, pivotal moment for me, just to be able to have that feeling and like share my, I guess, talent with other people. That's the other thing, is like, I like my healing is other people's, joy and things like that. So it's like, they like the things that people say to me on, especially on Band Lab, the things that like, they're like, your voice is like, I wake up to and I listen to your voice, and I'm like, it's kind of like sometimes a little weird.
It's freaky, but at the same time, you're like, yes, I got fans.
My husband's like, this girl is saying that she thinks you're her angel, and she can't wake up in the mornings without. Like I've had that a lot. Like I don't get really any bad attention for the most part. It's always just like people tell me how much they love my voice, and they're like, except for one guy who was like, I can't live without it. I'm like, oh boy, that's not gonna. I'm not doing that now.
Well, Amy, you have a very special song that you sent in for exclusive here. Tell me about Souless.
So it's on the slower side, but again, it's another Iceman song. And I'm sure you guys have all heard it by now. It's been out for a while, but I've had it on the works for a while, and I suck at writing lyrics. I'm not good at it. But I finally just like, my husband's like, you can do it. And so if I don't do it though, he'll end up like, he'll turn one of my favorite songs into like, he'll put lyrics into it. I'm like, God, you just ruined that for me. Like they're like very not appropriate, but they're hilarious. So I'm like, that's all I can think of now. He's like, I will destroy it for you. I'm like, fine, I'll write the lyrics already. Jeez. He's like, you need the other song, just get it done. So I finally was just like, you know what? Every time I start writing it though, I think it sounds cheesy. And then I'm like, have him read it. And I'm like, okay, it's not cheesy because it's not, what he's singing. He's like, he'll straight, like he wants to do like, by the way, anybody wants to help me do this, because this is his idea. By the way, nobody can steal this from us. Bubblegum rap, y'all know what that is. Okay, right?
Yes.
He said we should do bubblegum rap, but then do it bubblegum rapping about every different type of bubble gum, chewing that bubble gum and then popping
Dude,
it.
that's an awesome idea.
He's a genius. I'm telling you, it'd be awesome.
Heck yeah, I can't
And
wait to hear
hilarious.
that.
I just don't know how to do that yet. So
I guess you got to start with Googling all the different types of bubble gum that are out there and get a list first.
no, he was like, yeah, you just sit there like, because the only thing he understands like one word. He's like, yeah, no, big chew, pop the bubble. You know, he's like, juicy fruit, and then he's like, that's the only thing you understand is like one word. So I was like, it's quite,
Devilment.
yeah, exactly. See, yeah, zebra stripe. that stuff they don't sell anymore.
Wrigley's.
Yeah, they don't sell the zebra stripe stuff in the dollar store anymore. I love that stuff. It only lasted for like 2
Yeah.
seconds.
I know, but it was cool because it did taste like plastic and paper at the
Yeah,
same
big
time.
league. The big league chew too. You get that.
Yeah. They still have that here.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right. We're gonna go
um,
ahead. We're gonna
yeah,
check
no,
out
so this is,
Souless.
Souless. Iceman is the original creator of the instrumental, and it's like a little bit on the slower pace side, but I love it. And so this is first time being heard. I've not posted it yet because I wanted it to be debuted today on the show for all of you guys who are here to watch the show. So don't critique me too hard.
Aw. I'm sure nobody out there is gonna be soulless.
See, there she goes again. Man, she's just killing it.
Let's go ahead. Let's check out this track. You guys better like, share, follow, and subscribe to Amy. You can find her on BandLab and on Instagram. Go ahead. She loves forkable tracks, so make her some killer rock metal tracks. Send them her way. I know she would love to have some fun on them. Here we go with Souless. Yay! Such a melodic beauty of an original instrumental by none other than the amazing Iceman. Lyrics and vocals written and sung by me. Hope you all enjoy. Melodic metal, women of metal, Angified presents Metal Monday. Crike it. Crike it up.
This anxiety inside me, it grows. I try to
We stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
I'm gonna spread love, oh hey.